No, all I had to do was guess one word. That's it, just one word. I would have automatically guessed all of this right, but no, I'm not gonna take that because I messed up. Last chapter review, I literally said that Apple Core was, was a satellite. Instead, I was just looking for one word. It was antenna. That's all I need to say. Antenna. Like, seriously, I really just couldn't think of the word antenna. But yeah, we're back again like we never left. This is Nick Urameshi. I'm the host of this, video series of One Piece review. Starting off with the cover story. Yeah, for some reason, this is still going on. The Vinsmoke stuff. Yeah, apparently Caesar and the rest of the Vinsmokes have finally made it back to the Germa Kingdom, and yeah, Vince, Judge and Caesar are finna fight now. It's kind of getting annoying. They go ahead and address the whole head situation and the Apple thing. Yeah, Bonnie's like, yeah, what happened to your head? It looked like you cut it off. And Vegapunk's basically like, yeah, I did. His head got so massive to a point that he had to basically literally cut his head off. And apparently not just massive. It got so huge to the point that he actually was the size of giants. Just head, majority head, little body. Now, this isn't just One Piece logic. Actually it is, but it's explained One Piece logic. You see, Vegapunk is a brainiac man. He actually ate the Nomi, which is translated to brain fruit. He actually gets tongue-tied saying it in the chapter. It's pretty funny. He goes on to say that basically he was already a genius. He was born a genius anyway. When he ate the brain fruit though, what it did was give him the ability to absorb information and not lose any. Basically, he can absorb an endless amount of information. The information is literally making his head grow to an enormous amount, and apparently it won't just make it explode. It just keeps growing. I can understand how that would be uncomfortable. I said in the last chapter review that yeah, this seems like a pretty painful existence. But I guess those are sacrifices you have to make for knowledge, right? It has a little bit of that Orochimaru in him, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I say that sacrifices for knowledge and science. Yeah, he does have the largest brain in the world now, and it's also still growing. And apparently how he does this is, and which is also a correction on what I said last chapter review, it's not that he took his brain, cut it up, and put it into the other clones, which they were confirmed in this chapter to be clones. His brain is actually inside of Punk Records. On top of Egghead Island, which is where they're at right now. This is Vegapunk's Island. Keep up, people. On top of Egghead Island, there is this giant egg, basically. It's like a cracked egg. Show that Vegapunk's entire brain, basically, is the top of Egghead Island, and it seems, anyway. I think that's what... I think I looked at that correctly, anyway. I hope I did. And what the clones exist for is basically to experience things and then upload those experiences back into Punk Records, Vegapunk's brain. This is how he learns of their experiences and what they have learned. It's kind of genius, honestly. But once again, very Stranger Things situation with Vecna and the tentacles and the whenever you touch something, those things he knows basically. Even if one of the bats are getting attacked like far away or something like that, he has a hive mind with them, so he automatically knows. I promised I was gonna turn one of these into Stranger Things review. This is not gonna happen here today. Each one of the 6 clones is a different part of his personality. So each clone basically experiences different things because they're a different personality trait of his character. And all of them combined equal regular Vegapunk. Luffy and Jinbei are righteously confused by all this. I'm confused by it too. I mean, honestly, it's not the first time we've seen clones in the One Piece story, because if you didn't know, that's what the Germa were doing the whole time, cloning people. Like their whole army is like literally clones. By the way, if you didn't know who the Germa were, they're Sanji's family. Vegapunk also has a dream apparently to connect his brain to the rest of the world, like on some internet type shit. Except it seems like he means it kind of literally, because he wants people to be able to upload their experiences into Punk Records, creating the biggest library ever, basically. Honestly, it kind of seems like he's crossing that level a little bit. Like it seems like he's teetering on that, like, I want all the knowledge in the universe. It's never a good idea situation. I mean, you already had to cut off your head to seek more knowledge. I mean, where are you gonna stop? I bring that up to, honestly, because it's not even surprising really that what he did to Bonnie's dad, honestly. And that does get addressed in this chapter, because once Bonnie hears this whole plan about, oh, okay, you're basically just trying to do more fucked up shit by placing your brain onto other folks. Nobody wants to share your brain. And also, you turned my dad into a cyborg! Bonnie goes out, and pulls out the lightsaber that she got a few chapters ago, and, holds it up to Vegapunk, and Vegapunk's like, wait, no, don't do that. You don't understand why I'm saying that. That's a bug zapper, and actually it's a lightsaber. It's supposed to be a lightsaber. But for some reason, it just draws in an extreme amount of bugs. And of course, Bonnie has a bug phobia. Okay, Oda, let's talk right quick. I need to see what Bonnie can do at this point. I mean, I know she's meant to be taken seriously. I know it's seeming like this is going towards a Kuma story, but I'm not cool with that scene. Like, it feels like you only did that so you could have Luffy just say that, oh, look, I found a stag beetle. Don't you think it's a little bit cliche that Bonnie, your girl character, is scared of bugs? Come on now. I mean, I'm not complaining fully. It doesn't just take away from the chapter, but it is a nitpick. Like, I don't like that. She doesn't need to be afraid of bugs, because for a minute I was thinking that the bugs were biting her or something like that. I don't think that was the case. Usually with that foaming out of the mouth situation, it's usually somebody's just got scared shitless. It does seem that Vegapunk does hold a little bit of regret for Bonnie's dad, Kuma, but he kind of still shrugs it off a little bit in this chapter, just a little bit. He kind of she's right to be mad with me about her father. I'd understand too. So, by the way, did you see a dragon in Wano that wasn't Kaido? Okay, yeah, we did see a dragon in Wano, but that wasn't Kaido. His name is Momo. He's the guardian deity of Wano. I can't believe I just did that. What was that? That was embarrassing. I'm leaving it in. This is where Vegapunk is basically talking to Luffy and Jinbei about if they actually did see a dragon on Wano, which kind of leads me to what I've been thinking, that this might be why CP0's after him right now. You lied. You created a dragon devil fruit and you didn't say nothing about it. Well, this is confirmed a little bit in this chapter, a little bit. We don't get an actual confirmation on what CP0 is here for, but we do get a confirmation on why Vegapunk said that it was a failed fruit. Vegapunk goes on and asks Luffy, okay, yeah, so what color was it? No, just tell me. What color was it? Pink? So Vegapunk loses his shit for a minute, and we end up realizing that he's a perfectionist. Genius and a perfectionist. Those are two things that don't really go together that well, because being smart and, being perfectionist, it constantly makes you hate on yourself, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying I'm smart, but I am a little bit of a perfectionist. especially with these videos, me drawing, anything in life. Honestly, I'm not everything in life, but certain things. I feel like a lot of people are perfectionists. Like when it comes to certain things, you have something that's important to you that you do want to make sure that is done to the, not even to the best of its ability, to a sense of being perfect. But you're never gonna have true perfection in the world, so you know you just gotta accept things for what they are. That's what true perfection is. I'm sorry I got so after school special with y'all right then. That was disgusting. But here's where we get into some interesting shit. So y'all know that there are like timestamps in One Piece, right? And I had to go ahead and realize it after this chapter. Like there are some timestamps in One Piece like hell, because all you need to do really is just say certain numbers and it'll make you start to think like, holy shit, have we heard this somewhere before? I think everybody was doing that when these spoilers came out anyway. I didn't automatically think it until the chapter came out and I realized, oh, okay, the fishmen, that's right. 200 years ago, the fishmen were finally liberated, low-key. Like, well, not low-key, that's how the story goes. They were, deemed not human, but fishmen. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being fish before. And it also makes me raise some questions like, one, what do they mean by that? Like, was the world government or just humans in general just out here eating fishmen because they actually thought they were fish? Or was it a different story? This chapter, we end up finding out that giant robot that they were talking about last chapter, yeah, see, apparently it attacked Mary Joie 200 years ago, randomly. Not even randomly, we don't know that yet. But for some reason, it woke up one day, climbed the red line, and almost killed people. I remember, this robot was not created 200 years ago. It was created over 900 years ago, before the Void Century. Void Century was 800 years ago. That was the missing 100 years. The world government also told the scientists of that time 200 years ago to go ahead, destroy that robot, basically get rid of it, because obviously it's dangerous. Well, the scientists, because they probably knew the world government was stupid by this time, they went ahead and decided to say, all right, no, we're not getting rid of this. This was too much of an amazing feat for us to just say, oh yeah, because they were like, we need to get rid of this. We're getting rid of this. No, guys, we're gonna go ahead and keep this on an island. Somehow, we're going to move this robot in broad daylight to this island with no one else noticing or nothing like that. The world government's never gonna come and check up on us or anything and be like, oh yeah, did y'all get rid of the robot? Like, where's the robot? Do we need to do checks? No, there's nothing here. Nothing to see over here. No. Okay, that's cap. Yeah, I'm not making no more excuse for it. Oda, that's cap. Like, there is no way. Like, I forgave the books a little bit. The books, that was one thing, The picture of Luffy, as Sun God Nika, my bad. Gear 5, in his wanted poster, it's just a picture, but a giant fucking robot. Giant that climbed, not only climbed the red line and threatened to attack the Holy Land. And y'all telling me that y'all didn't double check for this shit? Oda, that's cap. That's a complaint right there. That's one complaint. Everybody gets one. Even with this complaint, I can still connect this to something because, like I said, of the Fishman incident. Not really incident, their liberation, like I said. Oh yeah, by the way, the other Straw Hats, they didn't meet up with them, but they did technically go to look at the robot because they're looking at the robot from another room, actually looking at everybody like Luffy's crew. They're looking from like a little seems like video camera or something like that. A screen. That's what I meant to say. This chapter actually does, you know, do you a little favor, because it actually gives a reference to the chapter that it's talking about when it's referring to the Fishman incident, which is chapter 620. They say that around that time, that's when the movement started to gain ground. But we have no idea what happened with, I mean, that could have been just a time period, basically. Like, that was the time period where things started to finally, I guess, turn around for the Fishmen. You know, my theory here, and it's kind of wild, not gonna lie, but going forward, they basically say that the problem with recreating or getting this robot to move or recreating it basically is the fact that that the power source is unknown. I'm guessing even 200 years ago, that robot still didn't have the power to do what it was trying to do. Or maybe not what it was trying to do. I think that there was a devil fruit that attached itself to that robot, maybe for a little bit of time, maybe, possibly. I mean, and honestly, what makes me believe this is, one, this isn't the first time an inanimate object has eaten the devil fruit. If you remember Spondum, he has a sword that ate a devil fruit, and now his sword can transform into an elephant. Chapter 1018, basically, this is the fight between Jinbei and Who's Who. Who's Who is questioning Jinbei about Sun God Nika at this point. And he's asking Jinbei this because he says that the Fishman's history is a history of slavery. What if Fishman really only stopped being full-on slaves only 200 years ago? I mean, has that ever really been confirmed? Seriously, has it? Like, has that ever been confirmed that when Fishman stopped, were they ever fully slaves? I'm guessing they were at a certain point, because it seems like may have been the case at a certain point based on what Who's Who was talking about. This robot may have eaten a certain devil fruit, or the devil fruit may have just attached itself on its own because the will of that fruit is so strong. I wonder what devil fruit could possibly, theoretically, move on its own, has a super strong will, possibly. I forgot, he's literally standing right there on the robot, isn't he? Talking about the gum fruit, yeah, and I'm honestly saying this because Luffy is so enthralled by this robot. I want y'all to pay attention to Jinbei. The dots that he's constantly giving off. He does it twice in this chapter. And then, yeah, I know that's kind of weird to just be making a theory off of, but I really want y'all to pay attention to that. Like the dots. Even back when he fought Who's Who during that time, and Who's Who was saying all that racist ass shit, Jinbei was not talking weirdly. He wasn't saying anything. Yes, Jinbei is a stoic character, but oddly enough, though, when Who's Who was talking to him about that, Jinbei's reaction was different. Like, almost like he wanted to be like, why do you know this, rather than, I mean, not why do you know this, but how do you know this, rather than, I don't know what you're talking about. Jinbei never actually says he doesn't know what he's talking about. He just shrugs it off. And it kind of seems like he shrugs it off in this chapter too. Kind of like how Vegapunk is constantly shrugging off Bonnie and her father. Is it possible that the gum fruit 200 years ago, because we don't know if anybody else has ever eaten the gum fruit, could it have been possible that it could have attached itself to this robot around this time to you know, do its Sun God Nika thing and be like, oh well, there's no people around for me to eat me, basically, pause. But yeah, it's a giant robot right here. This seems like a good party. It's probably attached itself to the robot. The robot gained the powers of Nika for a minute. Probably wasn't enough to keep it alive though, and once it died, the devil fruit escaped. And just like that, it was over with. I mean, could possibly make sense. What if the robot only had that much life left? That much life to climb the red line, scare the shit out of the world nobles, and they were just like, okay, release the Fishman? What if the robot was saying that around that time and they just didn't want nobody else to know about it? But the world nobles were so scared of the situation, they were like, okay, all right, fine. We might have to address what that robot was doing eventually because it seems kind of familiar. But yeah, you guys are free to go. You guys are people now. Go ahead. We'll still kidnap you if you come too close though sometimes. So yeah, just be warned about that. Lucci and them finally pull up basically, and they've taken out some sea kings in the waters and stuff, and they pulled up with the Seraphim Kuma, and they're basically like, yeah, we're here. I don't know. It was weird. They were saying that they might need to kill Bonnie. Guessing that's because they're her father and stuff. I don't know. I don't even understand why they have such a connection with Bonnie at this point. I mean, is it really that big of a deal that she's there? Okay, yeah. I mean, she is the daughter of a revolutionary and stuff like that. I kind of get why. I mean, world government has done worse. I mean, look what they did with all Roger's potential kids. You got Rob, Lucci, Stussy, and Kaku here. I really hate to, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was saying that this chapter, I think I do hate Rob Lucci just a little bit. Something about dude, I really just don't. I like the pigeon. The pigeon's kind of dope. Hatori is a goat for some reason. I know he doesn't do much, but I feel that Hatori is cooler than Lucci. I hate Lucci. It's something about him. He's just like too stoic or something like that. Can't really tell what his motives are and shit. Like, but he's clearly evil. Even in this chapter, he just goes on and says like, oh yeah, like we might as well just kill Bonnie. Like, there ain't even no point in having her around no more. Sanji's group with Shaka and them, they're all react to the fact that Rob Lucci and them just pulled up to the island. And Shaka's like, oh, okay, well, all right, tell them to give me back my Seraphim and square up. Basically, that kind of threw me for a loop because I was like, yeah, I thought we were gonna do a little of an escape plan or something like that, but nah. Vegapunk's like, oh, we're gonna fight, and I'm like, okay. So does that mean that the clones can fight? Like, what are they? I mean, we've seen one of them fight before, I think. Which one was it? Atlas. That was her name, Atlas. I'm wondering if Zoro and Brook are gonna cut them off first. I mean, it kind of would give them something to do, like, because we haven't really just seen much of them in like the past few chapters. So like, this will probably give them a little bit of stuff to do. Zoro's probably bored anyway. I mean, I don't know. Zoro and Brook are kind of like, they're both swordsmen, you know? I can't help but feel like Zoro will just be filled with Zoro constantly reminding Brook that he kicked his Shadow's ass that time. Towards the end of the chapter, we cut to Kamabaka Kingdom. Kuma has made a mad dash out of nowhere. Like, he's just running. All of his like metallic equipment that was connected to him, I'm guessing because they're trying to see if they can get his regular personality or soul back. He's tumbling over. He's like just running. I'm wondering too, like, is he gonna go to Egghead? But at the end, what's the guy's name? Oh yeah, Ivankov. He basically says that our fight is not done. So assuming that the revolutionaries are gearing up for battle against the world government. I'm guessing. I think it's pretty obvious at this point what Kuma's finna do, because even earlier in the chapter while Bonnie's knocked out, Vegapunk actually says that there is something that I need to give her. So it is kind of convenient that towards the end of the chapter, Kuma's seen making a mad dash towards wherever, and also it's very convenient that we're on break next week. So that means that I won't be giving a review next week. Y'all already know what a break means, basically. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this short and simple. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for giving my other videos so much love in the past. I've recently made it to 36 subscribers, so thank you to everybody that has recently subscribed. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. And also, if you want more of me, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications to see more of the magnificent me. It was a decent chapter. I don't do ratings, so yeah, but it wasn't better than the last chapter. So yeah, but see you bastards later.